Hello valued viewers, I hope you're all doing very well. Today's naval battle is a 1980s air wing of F-14B Tomcats versus a 2000s air wing of ST-21 Super Tomcats. I've always wanted to do this battle and now we can finally do it. Now you're going to say at this point, it's a stupid thing, why are you bothering? And you're right, obviously the ST-21 would never have fought the F-14B. In fact, they probably never even would have overlapped in terms of service times. But it's going to be a really interesting concept battle. Let me try and explain. In fact, if I bring the splash screen up, the actual airframe performance between the F-14B from the 1980s and the ST-21 from what would have been the 2000s is not a huge amount of difference. Slightly better engines, would have had thrust vectoring, but essentially for this battle, not much difference. What we're really interested in today is the difference between 1970s tech and 2000s tech. Remember, the F-14B had an old 1970s mechanical radar, albeit a very powerful one, the AWG-9, which could detect fighter-sized targets at about 80 miles. The ST-21 would have had a much more modern 2000s AESA radar. I think it would have been the same one for the Raptor, but I stand to be corrected, which could see fighter-sized targets, well, actually at about the same distance, at about 80 miles. But critically, the weaponry would have been very different. The F-14B will rely on 1970s, well, technically late 1960s long-range missiles, the AIM-54 Phoenix. This weapon has a huge range. I've clocked it in perfect parameters in DCS at 140 nautical miles, which nothing else in DCS can perform, even the Grim Reaper's missiles. But it is old technology. It cannot be supported via data link. This missile has to be guided via the aircraft's radar all the way until it's just a few miles away from the target. That is a huge tactical disadvantage as compared to a modern fighter. The modern ST-21 will be using today's modern missile, the AIM-120D. In terms of range, it's nowhere near as powerful missile as the AIM-54. It will go a maximum of about 90 nautical miles. But it's a modern 2020s missile and it can be guided on data link for its entire journey, giving the ST-21 a huge tactical advantage. It can fire the missile, it can immediately turn around and go home, and the missile will track 90 miles and destroy the target. So on the face of it, this is very powerful but old tech. This is not as powerful but much more modern tech. Purely for interest as well, I found the costing differences interesting. The AIM-120 is designed to be very modular and very cheap, and it is. An AIM-120D is about $1 million per shot. An AIM-54, if you do an inflation calculator from the original model in 1968, now costs $7.5 million per shot. It's the equivalent amount of money, and that shows how cheap modern modular missiles have got. Between carrier groups are 175 miles. Each carrier group has a supercarrier and 3 escorts. Don't worry too much about the escorts today. They won't play a huge role. There are no anti-ship missiles or anything. Aboard the carriers are 32 of the respective aircraft. For the Blues, we have F-14Bs, all AI, set to max skill level and to fight a maximum range. They are armed with their maximum complement. They probably never would have flown with this complement in real life, but it is technically possible, of 6. AIM-54C Mark 60, the longest, most modern range of the Phoenix's fuel tanks, and 2 1980s Sidewinders. They will take off, fight to the death. They will not try and RTB. Everyone today will be fighting till the bitter end. It's that kind of battle. It's not a tactical battle per se. They will also have respawning humans with the same specification starting behind a carrier. Bullseye is in Oman and onto the red side. The naval setup is the same. The aircraft are the ST-21. The ST-21 we've had to build ourselves. Like most Grim Reapers mods, they start out as VSN mods, and massive credit for them for doing the lion's share of the work. We take them, we heavily modify them for our own private use, and here is the ST-21. It doesn't feature everything that the real ST-21 would have featured, like thrust vectoring. In this case, we are carrying, if you can add that up, 10 AIM-120D1s and 2 modern AIM-9X Sidewinders and fuel tanks. And of course, we have respawning humans. Now, when I made the ST-21, I had to make my own flight model and decide how kinematically powerful it would have been. It was supposed to have had the F-110 GE429 engine, and I've not managed to find information about how powerful that engine would have been, so I've had to make an assumption. And I've assumed, if I find my drag race, there it is, we can see we have the F-14B there. Those engines had about 30,000 pounds of static sea level thrust. The ST-21, I've assumed about 32,000 pounds static sea level thrust. So let's see if I do a drag race now. So ST-21 starting at exactly the same credentials. You can see the ST-21 is getting away, but it's marginal. F-14 320 knots, ST-21 350 knots, you can see. So it's comparable, about, I don't know, 7% extra power. So that's it. 1980s Air Wing versus what would have been 2020s Air Wing if they didn't go for the Super Hornet. Guys, any comments or predictions?
Yeah, I think the ST-21 is going to cakewalk this. Those Phoenixes, you've got to keep them locked on. You can notch them, by which point I think the 120Ds will be in range and fire and forget almost.
There's not really much to go with the old tech other than maybe if we take an AWACS out or we can get them down low. But then it's more just its pilotability than it is missile technology at that point. But if we're just going purely based on the technology of the time, talking about similar airframes, better radar, better missile technology, something supported by an AWACS versus the airplane having to hold nose on, it's going to be really one-sided.
Roger. I guess I agree, but it'll still be interesting, guys. I had some comments when we were off camera about the not having as many racks as we've got here, and you are absolutely right. And I'm making the assumption if we were using this in modern times, they would have found ways to double mount like they did with the Super Hornet and stuff like that. But yeah, that's a fair comment, guys. Right, everyone's going for the modern jets. Viewers, let me know what you think before we go. And here we go. Sides, Simba, War Dog and Squirrel, the 1980s. Poosh, Strider and Cannibal, 2020s. Good luck, guys. Start on 3, 2, 1, go. Remember, you can respawn as many times as you want. I'm super pumped for this. It's going to be really cool. Let's have a look at my humans on the 1980s side. Of course, the F-14 was 1970s, but the B model was 1980s. AI are going to be taking off from that carrier. First, AI airborne. Let's go and have a look at the Super Tomcats. Visually, they are the F-14B physical model from VSN, so they look like an F-14B, but there weren't a huge amount of proposed aesthetic differences. For the ST-21. Like you saw in the acceleration test, it accelerates a tiny bit faster, but it's marginal at best. My beautiful humans. Both the Phoenix and the modernised AMRAAM will benefit from being fired at about 40,000 feet. Otherwise, their ranges are very low. Both of those missiles will only manage about 10 miles if fired on the deck against a low target. In terms of who's going to fire first, viewers, well, that's an interesting thing. Although the Reds have AESA radars, they're not really going to use their radars. They're going to use the AWACS to fire their missile. So the Reds will be hamstrung only, or limited only, by the range of the AIM-120D, which is about 80 to 90 miles. So these guys will be firing at 80 to 90 miles. The F-14B with the Phoenixes can go nearly twice as far, or 140 miles, but they are limited by, because they can't use AWACS to fire their missiles, they're limited by the range of their radar to lock a fighter-sized target. All fighters today have a radar cross-section of about 6 meters squared. So when can the AWG-9 see 6 meters squared? Well, my estimate is about 80 miles in testing. So I suspect the Reds will have a slight advantage with the AMRAAM range, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. In terms of how the missiles will travel, it will be very different. The Phoenix is a very non-aerodynamic missile. It needed to get very high, very far. So you'll see the Phoenixes shooting up right into the high atmosphere and then coming down like that in a slow arc. That was the best. Oh wow, Strider's already shot a missile. A $1.2 million max range shot. It's ambitious. Max range shots from humans are unreliable, but they can hit. It's fired on that guy there at 82 nautical miles. With regards to the AMRAAM, it will fly very differently. It will not fly a very realistic flight path in DCS because we have restrictions. It'll fly to about 50, maybe 60,000 feet. In reality, it would do more of a slow arc, but much higher, kind of parabola like that. It's not as non-aerodynamic, it's not as draggy as the Phoenix. It would fly up to about 90,000 feet. Oh my goodness gracious me, someone has fired a Phoenix. It's Simba Wimba. Now, although he turns off, he can't turn all the way off because he has to keep a radar lock for those missiles to work. If he dumps them, then they're pretty much a no-go, unlike the AIM-120Ds. He fired them at what I guess is about 70 nautical miles. So it looks like the AWG-9 can see a fighter-sized target at about 70 miles. So about 10 miles down on the AIM-120D. Now look how these fly, viewers. They go straight up pretty much to get into that thin air. And then they kind of parabola themselves down. And they need to do that because they are so draggy. I mean, as you can obviously tell by the shape and the huge weight that they have. You can see how Strider's turned all the way around and his missiles will now guide on data link. Now, because it's fired by a human, the GR missiles don't work very well if fired by a human at long range, so they may or may not miss. We'll have to see. As long as Simba can support these Phoenixes, they have pretty much a 100% chance of not hitting, but making it to the target. And they've lofted all the way up to 90,000 feet. Right, okay, we've got things happening here. It's tracking.
I've been fired on. Can't even get Jester to lock a target up.
You can see they're tracking, but because they were fired so high and so fast and by a human, they just haven't managed to get the flight path right. So they're going to turn around and try and chase him, but they're probably not going to be effective. In terms of missiles fired, wow, Blues have fired more 1970s missiles than Reds have fired modern AMRAAMs. Now that is a surprise. War Dog's pumping 6 AIM-54s out. Well done, sir. So more missiles of higher efficacy are going to come in now. This AIM-54 shot from Simba has 100% found its target. Those targets are almost certainly in the basket. Is it going to track now, though? Like the AMRAAM, this has a limited life in the air, a limited battery life, so that's something to think about. Got a missile coming in for this guy here. No kills yet. Yep, that one's going to track well in the basket. But who's it tracking? It's tracking someone over there instead. Simba had to go defensive, so he's had to ditch any missiles that he's got because he needs to stay alive. Very powerful kinematic. Roger, get another. That shows how powerful the F-14. You couldn't have done that in Hornet, viewers. The F-14, even the B mod, is extremely powerful. Simba's just smashed those missiles with pure power. That's one of the advantages the ST-21 would have had over the Super Hornet. Phoenixes. 2 F-14Bs have gone down already. I didn't see it. It looks like they're in the back ranks. I mean, these Phoenixes are tracking. We know that because these Reds have had to go cold. That means those missiles are tracking on them. Another F-14B down. These Phoenixes still hounding these S-21s, but they're so big and heavy, they just can't maintain the speed. It's putting them on the run, though. Yeah, the Phoenixes are 100% tracking, guys. And our first ST-21 down. Right, 4 Bs down.
Good job, War Dogs.
War Dog, he got a kill against a friggin' 2020 ST-21. Fair play. Fair play indeed. Good dodge, sir, whoever that was. Dodge with a friggin' Immelman. Amazing. Power of the friggin' Tomcat. Still getting chased. These Phoenixes go forever. They must have a huge battery on them. Although they're not killing, what they are doing is putting the ST-21s out of business. Another one's tracking, look. Oh, I don't know. This 1970s stuff's doing pretty dang well. Why didn't he dodge there, viewers? It's because that missile came down so steep. It came down above the limit at what he could detect that missile. Oh my god, Simba's got an ATM. When did that happen? Now that's interesting, viewers, and I did not see that happening today. He's lost him. Or has he? Got a friggin' dogfight in the middle of all this madness, but Simba's in trouble. We know he's got AMRAAMs. Good flying today, Simba. Dodging missiles and going in canyons. He's had to go. He's had to evac. He's got a very fast missile fire from very high down, chasing him down. Can he escape it? Can he get fast enough in that beast? He friggin'...
We're all down. I can't even get just... He's calling nails and I'm telling him to lock and he's just not doing anything.
You weren't hit, Simba. It was an over-G.
Yep. Force him into TWS auto.
One disadvantage of the F-14Bs is they are high fidelity viewers. They will get G damage and stuff like that. The ST-21s are low fidelity. They will not get G damage. Right, 5 F-14Bs down, 2. And I'm surprised about this ST-21 down. They show us VSN 14B because I can't change the name at that point without doing real work. No one wants to do real work. And a new bunch of AIM-120Ds coming down, and the technology gap already showing here. Although the power of the F-14 showing there. Seen some great examples of differing technologies, but the overall kinematic ability of the F-14 is shining through in almost every case. Again, what succeeded this, a Super Hornet would not be able to do such good dodging. It's a good plane, but not as powerful kinematically. Now look at the tactical spread at this point. The ST-21s have caught bullseye and put a no man's land of 20 miles into reds. Although it's not the overwhelming thrashing I would have thought it had been so far. The Phoenixes are still holding their way. Another one that's tracking, look. So they're having to do a lot of work, and they're not easy to dodge these things, viewers. You've got to be a good pilot to do it. As you're about to friggin' see. That's what that missile can do. Fall out of space. Use its own. Look at this one. This one's chasing backwards, for God's sake. It's turned around and it's chasing this guy backwards. There. In fact, there's 3. Yeah, there's 3 down. So the killing of the blues has been done here by these long-range missiles. The killing... Wow, 5 to 8. Fair play. 5 ST-21s down in this huge barrage of really annoying Phoenixes. I mean, really annoying if you were having to fight against them. Like I said, they just keep frigging going. Well done, 1980s. Look at that thing.
I just ripped off another 6.
Nice. Yep. You've got to somehow try and keep that lock now, which is not easy, bearing in mind that Reds have got bullseye. That said, it's only 1 now. 6-8! They're pulling it back! The old Tomcats are now putting it back to the Super Tomcats. Who would have thought this? Look at that guy. He's being chased all the way back to his carrier by this thing. What a friggin' missile, viewers. Look how well it retains its energy. Possibly even better than the AMRAAM. Just hounding. Uh-oh. Oh, Poosh just dodges a Phoenix. I would not want to be flying in this fight, viewers. They're even capable of getting people in the canyons because they're coming straight down, which is why they're so freaking dangerous. Rarely will you get a warning. When they're coming straight down like that, you won't get a warning they're coming for you. You will just blow up. This guy has just fired the mother load. No, not that guy. This guy has fired the mother load of AMRAAMs. 8 AMRAAMs, just 1 guy, and that is another massive advantage of the ST-21, its ability to fire everything off and turn cold, which he's done. He's immediately gone cold, lost the radar lock. Doesn't matter, they'll all guide and probably kill F-14Bs. 7 to 9. 7 to 9, viewers. 71 AMRAAMs fired, 55 Phoenixes fired, no short-range missiles fired, and I doubt we'll get any short-range missiles fired today. It's a surprise in how amazingly equal it is. I did not think it would be this equal. The tech massively favours the 2020 stuff. I guess the AIM-54 are earning that huge cost that they have. Here come another battery of missiles, and old Tomcats have got to do some dodging, and that's too hard to dodge. That was a 1300 knot missile, and that's too hard to dodge. Or not. Wow, what amazing dodging. Bearing on super maneuverability. There are now 10. Yeah, it's 10 to 8. Still, little kills keep coming in the back ranks from big floating AIM Phoenixes. I don't think I've ever been so surprised. I've got my surprised face on, viewers. 8 to 10. Again, another large battery of AIM-120Ds. Just a reminder that AIM-120Ds do not need to be guided by the radar, so they can all guide. Even if you're shot down, 10 of them will still guide. That will almost certainly be the deciding factor here. 2 brilliant dodges, still 8 to 10. Somehow the 1980s plane's holding on. And look, and they're still replying with a huge amount of these missiles falling down from orbit. That's tracking. That's tracking. And it's been beaten. Look at that guy. Smash. Smash. Oh, now the problem with that is it means those missiles are technically, well, they're not technically lost. Look at how they go straight up, viewers. They might hit, but it's very unlikely because they've got no mid-course update. Oh, that was out of something. 8 to 11, but still doing amazingly well, the old Tomcats. That guy's out of missiles pretty much. Uh-oh. That's got a twitching nose. The AMRAAMs seem to retain their energy better around the 12 to 1300 knot region. Oh no. Smack. 1980s plane down. 8 to 12. Good dodge there. What's going to happen there? Oh, look, it went straight past him. Just missed. Wowzer. He was lucky. Look at these AIM-54s all converging on these ST-21s. Another battery of Phoenixes in. What do you prefer, viewers? Do you prefer the crazy giant Mustang that is the Phoenix, or the high-tech super nerd Bill Gates that is AMRAAM? That was a missile, nearly hitting a missile, viewers, and they can do that and will do that. Oh, they even took each other out. Huh. 8 to 13, okay, the modern aircraft are pulling it ahead again. They've just got, well, I don't know why. The ebb and flow of the battle will see pulses of kills like that. Still a long way to go. Prices, viewers, don't worry about the prices. They are not inflation adjusted. I've put the original prices in, so they don't mean anything compared to each other, or only date specific. That guy's going to get smacked. Ah, can't click on it quick enough. Yeah, another one down there. I would hate to be a F-14B driver in the middle of this, viewers. You just don't have the awareness that the Super Tomcats do. That guy's just shot. Missiles going in. I'm trying to look for Phoenixes that are tracking, because that's pretty much the most impressive thing to watch here. You've all seen AIM-120Ds tracking, but Phoenix is tracking, not so much.
15 to 10.
15 to 10, yep. I'm still surprised at the 10 guys. Someone fired an AIM-9X finally. I don't know why or how, but they did. This guy getting hounded. Oh, that 15 to 10 is about to increase because a bunch of really powerful shots came in. It's 800 knots. Oh. I'm in a weird position of I don't know which I want to win, viewers. I like old stuff, but I love ST-21, so... Oh, gutted. A big kill gap's opening up now. 11 to 17, 11 to 18. I wish I could see the Phoenix kills, viewers. It's real hard to catch. No, it's gone dumb. Okay, 11 to 18, and a big battery of fast-fired AMRAAMs, and firing them fast is hugely important for all missiles. There's a guy that's got out here. Or if someone has spotted him. A thing may happen, we'll have to see, but it's doing some good shooting. That guy's going to get smacked. Yeah, it's opening up now, viewers. The natural balance is really showing itself, because look how far Red has pushed past Bullseye. Oh, he just got smacked by a Phoenix. Oh no, they're at Bullseye, but No Man's Land is up to 40, what is that? Yeah, 40 nautical miles now. So Blues have now been pushed to within 20, 30 miles of their own freaking carrier. That guy's getting tracked. No, that shows one of the bad points of an old missile. The guy who shot this has been killed and it no longer tracked or no longer updated enough to get in the basket. 13 to 19. Gutted for missing all the kills, viewers, but well done for 13 to 19. But I can really start to see the old tech struggling now, viewers. Look how far they've been pushed back, and they're almost all defensive as well. And when you're defensive, you can't fire back, and it just snowballs out of control. But look, missiles possibly tracking. That's probably in the basket. No, it's dead. What about this? No, 90,000 feet. Oof, that one's in space. This guy firing stuff. $13 to 19. This guy pumping off missiles. Jesus, the missile just blew up right next to it. Oh, wow, he tried. He pushed it all the way, but he was blown up. His missiles would be no good. And I just saw an ST-21 go down there. That's 14 to 20 now. 136 AMRAAMs fired one side, 113 Phoenixes. Still, Blues doing admirably well, viewers. Bearing in mind the tech gap here. Dead missile. Simba firing missiles out. Red's now 10 miles past Bullseye. Oh, look, here's the thing, viewers. I was saying about how steep they come down. And it kind of shoots them in the foot in a way, because it makes tracking the target harder. But I think it does anyway. If it does track, it's going to be a kill, because it is straight on him. I don't think it is, though.
We have an AIM-54 in space.
Yeah. I think I saw that one. They are tracking. And look, because this ST-21's had to go defensive, but they can avoid it. Powerful jet, missile slow. 14 to 21, yeah, gap opening up now. What's that one doing? Is that a thing? Oh, look at that. Just spoofed over the top of him. A couple of ST-21s just got wiped out there. Again, I missed the kills. This guy's getting chased. He's outrun the missile. 15 to 22. I'm going to keep missing all the kills, viewers. Maybe you can spot them and I can't. I'm mainly looking at the front line here. Cost of the blues, 2 billion, but inflation adjusted, that would be about 14 billion? Oh, that'll be a lot. I can't work it out in my head. This guy pumping off all the Mark 60s. Not frigging going down without a fight, Viewingtons. Wow, Reds have now pushed past Bullseye by 20 miles. AMRAAMs over their fleet now. No SAMs out yet. Haven't needed it. Haven't got close enough. Look at that. That guy's still getting chased back into his own waters by this Phoenix. Well, if nothing else, we've learnt the ability for an AIM-54 to just chase a guy. He's been like 20 miles. He used all his fuel up. That really is quite amazing. I'm not even sure the AIM-120D can do that. 15 to 23. Do we have some tracking Phoenixes? Yes, we do. More. Again, chasing him away. Making him tactically hopeless. It's not going to catch him up, but... Look at that. You can just sit and watch that all day, viewers. Another one that's probably tracking. Yep. Oh, that's an ST-21. Finally, I caught a kill. Oh, it met. No, it hit him. Huge anti-bomber warheads in these 54s. They don't need to get particularly close to fuse and kill. That guy's finally got his comeuppance, though. Oh, Simba alive. Yep. Much more smaller warhead on the AMRAAM, but still it would vaporize an aeroplane. Pretty much. 70-pound warhead, something like that. Good kill. 16 to 25, and Simba's set himself up for a little battle down here. That should be interesting. That said, someone has 100% spotted him. 16 to 25, 165 AMRAAMs, 130 Phoenixes. Still an admirable job. A big battery of these coming in now, and they're 100% tracking. No, he's not beating that. Not in a squillion years, Viewington Wilmingtons. Yeah, I said it. Viewington Wilmingtons. And the other guy's going down too. Not happy with that. They need to take his body down. Nuke him from space. It really is the only way to be sure, viewers. Oh, and another one down. Big battery of missiles there, doing a lot of damage. Smash. Right. God, they're firing Phoenixes from their own base now. That's what it's come down to. Reds are they've been pushed back to 15 miles from Bullseye. Oh, poor old Simba met his maker. To be fair, he was literally surrounded by ST-21s.
Only had 9s left, so I had to get into close range.
Roger.
I risked it.
Now, because no SAMs have been fired, viewers, that means the Tomcats are actually holding their own. If SAMs were firing, you know Reds would have completely won and they've pushed the carrier, but no SAMs have been fired, so that means they haven't been able to push the carrier yet. So although they're losing, they've done a very real job of keeping these ST-21s at bay, which surprised me. I would have thought the scoreboard would look like 5 to 27 by now. It's 16 to 27, and a lot of very close calls as well. But now Reds are really getting superiority. Look how many missiles are now in the air. When you've got that many missiles, you can't operate. There's nothing you can do apart from squiggle around and hope you dodge them, which rarely happens. 17 to 28, viewers. 17 to 28. That's nearly the whole air wing. SM2's out. Right, that means things are changing, viewers. That means the Reds are now confident and they're pushing the carrier. They are 50, 60 miles away from the carrier. This guy hailing missiles out, but he's had to go defensive and ditch the missiles immediately. 17 to 29 kills. They're still over 50%, which is good. Straight into it. He has to make the decision between supporting his missiles and turning cold. Oh, look at Squirrel was really in trouble. Oh, come on! Oh, it reached him. A friggin' whisker, look at that. But they're firing so close now. They're firing at 20, 30, 40 miles. Sure, AIM-120D at high altitude is 100% a death sentence. Oh, look at that one. Oh, it went right through him. Right through him, viewers. Just didn't track. Very fallible technology, I guess. This one's diving down on this guy here. Look how they dive straight down, viewers. Oh. Is it going to track? No, look at that. It failed. That was a missile problem. It had every right to hit him, and it didn't. So I guess it's just not as good at tracking. 18 to 30 kills. They're still over 50%, so it's still a good job, guys. Good job. 189 AMRAAMs fired to 160 Phoenixes. It's great to see so many Phoenixes being fired here. No friendly fires today. All missiles fired today pretty much have been Fox 3s, where friendly fires are inevitable, however good you are. But it's not been seen today. I guess there just haven't been enough close ACM battles. Missile evaded, well done. Still 18 to 30. Oh, and the Reds have got most of their air wing now, or what's remaining of it, 20 miles past bullseye, which is going to be tactically impossible for ST-21s. Let's see who's taking off at the moment. So, yeah, that's the last pair taking off now of the F-14Bs. And the time to take off the same as the other group, so it's the last aircraft on all fronts now. We are 30 minutes into the sim. 19, so more Phoenix kills going on, viewers. I catch these more. It's easier to see these for some reason. Harder to see the Phoenix kills. I think it's because they chase them back for ages and you never know when they're quite going to catch up. 19 to 31, still ways over 50%, so that's good. Keep fighting, 1980s guys. You've got a reputation to uphold. Alright, this one's going to catch him. Well dodged. There's the fleet. There's SAMs coming out from the fleet. We're not using 2020's fleet today. Today is not about the naval assets. Today is about the fighters. And I want to keep it about the fighters. Just dodged that Phoenix, but another one's got his name on it. Or has it? No, it hasn't. It missed. Another huge battery. Oh, look how many red missiles are in the sky now, viewers. 30 missiles just popped out of nowhere. Good evasion, but it immediately has to dodge another one. Oh, look at this guy. Got caught really unawares. Oh. Being shot down now over their own carrier group. We've reached that point. Fight on, guys. Pretty much all Tomcats have taken off, so let's fight to the death and see where it goes. Reds had the problem now of SM-2 missiles coming out, but they're not a huge threat as compared to a Phoenix or an AIM-120D, in my opinion. Red missiles now raining down on the guys above their own carrier group, which was inevitable as the kill ratio dictates. Needed an extra missile to take his other wing off. Very strong airframe. Oh, ouch. Shot down by SAM. That was clever. No, shot down by Phoenix. Huh, haven't seen that before. Oh, that one's tracking. That one's tracking. No excuse. He should dodge it. ST-21. Again, finally caught. Look at that. Smash. He was greedy. 22 to 33 down. The 1980s are pulling it back. They don't really have a right to do that, but they friggin' are. Good shot. 23 to 33. But the problem is there's much more red aircraft. All aircraft have taken off now, but there's much more airborne. Blues, all the AI have not only taken off, but they've also died. So we'll give it a few more minutes, guys, at which point you're literally just going to get spawn camped. 24.
So where are you going?
35. To be honest, I don't really blame him. Guys, you're on an umbrella.
What are you talking about?
An umbrella of missiles. He's outrunning AIM-120D.
And every time I turn back, it's like they just fired them in my direction, waiting for the AWACS to find me.
Yep.
Because none of them are nose hot on me.
Missiles coming out from Cannonball. Merciless. The merciless Reds. Oh, that said, they've actually started clearing a bunch of Reds out. Aided by the SM-2s at this point. It's really hard to fight an opposing hostile, an opposing SAMnet, as we know from the various war games we've done. Poor Simba got chased all the way out there. So finally a friendly fire. Could it be? No, it's not. Oh, somehow ACM has happened and AIM-9X is out. Much better than an AIM-9M on the break blue side. Oh, and he had no warning of that. No missile warning system for that. Oh, but he survived. He survived and he fights on. Super Tomcat. There's not a Super Tomcat. He's dead. His friend took him out. 26 to 37. Blues. Keep responding if you want, but feel free to stop if you want, as obviously we're reaching that point where you're just going to be spawn camped. That said, oh, look at that. That's chasing him. I will not give up. For Queen and Country. Even though I'm on the Republic. Cannot find that Tomcat. Where is it? Got close. It got real friggin' close. Look. Oh, Simba's wanting a duel with a human. They can see each other. They're not hidden. The AWACS feed data link back and each can see where each is. So it's going to be a tactical game of cat and mouse. But AI is very omni-aware. Has a thing, a present for Simba. Now the problem is Simba can't actually dodge that missile per se. It's guided in by that AWACS there. So he has to break the link, the line of sight with the AWACS there, that AWACS there, and or the fighter's radar. So, and to do that, I mean, it's possible, but it's very, very difficult. Things going on here. No good. Or good. 27 to 38. Although I would expect most of the kills are now being done by SM2s. That's Mike's number. Mike, it's up to you whether you want to spawn again. I would suggest not, but it's up to you.
Can't get a lock on cannonball. It's just...
The F-14B is not an easy plane to use in game viewers. Like I said, it's high fidelity. It's designed not to be easy to use, as the real aircraft wasn't. Hence the need for 2 servicemen to use it.
Yeah, that comment was misdropping completely. I can see how if you had a Rio...
Yeah, you need not just a Rio, you need a highly trained Rio, just as you would in real life.
Yeah.
Whereas the ST-21 is simplified, so it's much easier to use in-game. But Simba got a friggin' missile on Pooch and is chasing him. How did he manage that? Simba knows how to use the F-14 for sure. He's worked his way into ACM twice. Pooch having to outrun it. They're both outrunning each other's missiles. Simba has beaten the AMRAAM. Well done. Not an easy thing to do. Pooch has not beaten the Phoenix. Actually, he has. It's a stalemate, but AI's coming, and look, he can use that line of sight from that AWACS to chuck that thing in, and it's going to be a fast one. And Simba is going to be cornered. War Dog is running, I don't know where he's doing what I would do, running away at this point. The battle is essentially over. The SM2s are now, you can't beat the SM2s, obviously. There's no anti-shipping missiles. Amazingly, they're running into them like idiots. Well, that's an AI problem. They're just not that smart. Oh, yeah, this is... Nick Simba can't dodge it. Look, it's turned its own radar on at this point. You can tell because it's wiggling its nose. And you cannot hide because it's dropping down on top of him. Where is he? Where is he? Can you see him, viewers? There he is. Blow me down, he beat it. See what it's doing? He's full afterburner and it's whooshing left and right. It scrubs the energy off the missile, but immediately a whole battery have been fired on him. And this one's coming right down. Fitting in.
Did I just shoot myself down?
Oh, I don't know. There are a lot of missiles where you were, I'll tell you that. Anyway, I wouldn't bother respawning, just watch Simba's final death throws, I would. Missile coming fast. He's friggin' dodged another. And he's going to do it with a nimblement. No, he's not. He has a small yo-yo. He will run out of energy. You always run out of energy. It's not thermodynamics, it's whatever the hell it is. Right, a 20 millionth missile being fired at Simba. This one at point friggin' blank. There's no way he's dodging this. Lost him. Where is he? The missile hasn't lost him. Yes, it has. God damn it! Just die! Well, it shows however good a missile is, viewers, it can't go through a dang mountain. He somehow equaled it back and is back on track. Oh, but Pooch has found him! Visually! Oh! 10-mile AMRAAM!
That's why you pay Simba the big bucks.
That's why he gets that hefty wage, viewers. It's gonna shoot! Look, it's going for the missile! Oh, missile on missile kill! What an epic fight at the end here. They're shooting their own friggin' missiles down. That was the AMRAAM tracked the Phoenix. Phoenix is big, like an aeroplane. Easy to track, and shot it down. Don't think that was skill. That was 100% accident, Pooch. Well, I think it was anyway. It was awesome.
Pretty sure it was.
But what Simba doesn't have is 1, 2, 3 AI firing him at the same time from long range. Oh, there's a possible shot going on here. All sorts of exciting things happening now, viewers. What a friggin' end. This is why you have to have humans in these games. Good dodging from Pooch. Line of sights the missiles. Oh, just though. It exploded 50 feet from his cockpit. And finally, Simba is out. No, he's dodged again! But this can't go on all day because there is limited fuel. And look, these guys are now firing from 30,000 feet, 6 miles away. Literally straight down on top of him. That is 100. I know I keep saying it, but that can't be beaten. Finally! Just dies. He's still alive! Oh, he's got no engines! He's got no, and he's still firing. That can't be on a target. It can't be on a target. No, it's done fired. Just die, Simba! Oh, about friggin' time. How many missiles? How many AI? How many humans? Oh, and they're still pouring in! Oh, and they're making him bleed for all the money they've sucked up. Finally, Simba dies. Really, really good battle. So, we all knew that the modern stuff was going to win, right? But what we didn't realise, or I don't think we realised, I certainly didn't, was how well the 1980s stuff, an end score of 28 to 40 kills, is pretty representative of how it was the whole thing. Sometimes they were almost equal, but I'd say on average they were 60-70% of the blue losses. So, to be honest, the 1980s stuff did extremely well. I guess we'll see you in the next one.